Assignment 13.2 for Team 2, a combined submission for Gormley, Knopfler, and Murphy, dated 22 November. To recap, our product is a set of applications for medical records programs such as Epic. The purpose of our applications are to increase user revenue by dovetailing prompts for billing codes to increase revenue. Our business canvas hasn't materially changed. As you can see, we have key alliances with existing healthcare system suppliers, insurance companies, health providers, and our customer values and our channels, they have not materially changed. So let me focus on what has changed, or at least what the subject of this week's investigation was. This week's investigation was testing resources, activities, and cost assignments. One of the first things that we did when we investigated this issue with our gurus is we investigated different models of labor cost. This is an applications program, and whether we use open architecture or a proprietary system, we will eventually have to pay somebody to code this thing. And there are two broad categories of people that we can do this. One is dedicated staff software engineers that we could hire, and the other general category of labor that we could purchase were freelancers, independent contractors, and online service coders. So we investigated the labor cost of each of these groups. They're not the same. Primary advantage of dedicated staff software engineers is continuity. These people would be on staff, and they would be able to upgrade the program, have more familiarity with it, that sort of thing. You get what you pay for, though, and they would be more expensive. They would be salaried employees. In Seattle, the mean salary for staff software engineers is upwards of $100,000 to $120,000 per person or per FTE per year. Freelancers and independent contractors are cheaper. They are maybe about 30% cheaper. At least that's what the research that I did revealed. And they would also have the additional advantage of flexibility. You could hire them as you need them, and you would end their employment when their needs are no longer active. So you would have an efficiency gain there. And so we estimate that the locums labor, if that's a term that you want to use, would be about 50% the cost of full-time labor or full-time FTE. So not exactly a pivot point, but at least I guess a point of dynamic flexion would be how our nascent company purchases the labor that it needs to code the program. And here, the two options don't contradict. We can have some dedicated staff software engineers who would then lead the product through to upgrades, through with continuity, service support, and changes, and then supplement this core professional staff with freelancers and independent contractors as the need arises. That way we would have a certain amount of institutional knowledge, but we wouldn't have to pay for empty airplane seats as we fly the plane, so to speak. We would be able to increase our labor force with independent contractors and freelancers as we need to. We won't pay for them when we don't need them. So another issue that we looked at with our gurus was coordinating activities, making decisions, access site by key decision makers, basically how we get our foot in the door. And that is an issue that essentially relates to the access that we have. The access that we have is relative to financial officers, IT personnel, word of mouth, professional conferences. Another thing that we looked at was benchmarks of customer value. What customers value comes down generally to increased revenue. There's a couple ways that we can measure that. Usually it's tracked on a monthly basis. At least that's what many of our primary anticipated customers and gurus told us. The gold standard, therefore, is quantifiable, proven increases in revenue. And that's the value that we would bring to our customer However, there are also bellwethers, and these things are such as chart go backs, billing refusals, requests for modification, and these things all lead to a return on investment that we would then translate into product cost. So, getting the deciders to decide, avenues of awareness for senior management decision makers, peer-to-peer references, we talked about that. So that's what I have for this week. I want to make sure I don't run too far over. The primary issues that we addressed are the ways that we pay for the labor that we need to code our program, and the other thing that we addressed is how to measure customer value in terms of direct revenue. There's an attached slideshow presentation. It's all attached, and please review at your convenience. Thank you for your time.